folks, Denobi2 here. Thank you for joining me once again on another catalog review. I am on a Hot Toys catalog binge, and you guys provided such great response. Very constructive criticism on my last video, the reissue of the Mark 47. I knew I wasn't perfect on that video. I was really just more so annoyed that we were going back to an older piece that had already been established, and there's just so much other characters and other pieces that we could have been focused on. I mentioned this a few years ago, and for the folks who are not aware, I do not sell my Iron Man Hot Toy figures. I trade them, I may retire them, I may customize them. I do sell Hot Toys, but when it comes to the Iron Man, I'm a lot more particularly connected to them. I may sell, or I may buy or sell a Captain America or trade Thanos or so forth, but when it comes to Iron Man, to me, it's not about resale value. It's about originality, first wave, and then push forward to the future, because there's just so much good stuff. One thing that I forgot to mention on that video too is that, you know, when we get the reissue of the Mark 47, it's going to be released into a crowded market with other die-cast Iron Man figures. And long story short, in this world of Hot Toys, you're always going to miss that one. I remember the last big major year that brought in a lot of new collectors, and it was, from what I remember, just going off of the comments that I received during this point in time in Hot Toys history, was 2016. 2016 was a very good, dangerous, expensive year. Hot Toys really kicked it up a notch. I remember getting comments like, oh, you know, I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to leave Marvel Legends. I'm going to leave SH Figuarts. This year was really bad. And when I say bad, I mean bad in a very good way. They just introduced a lot of stuff. And we tend to forget, as collectors, if you collect Marvel Legends or if you collect SH Figuarts or Hot Toys in general, that 2016 was a very, very big, I would think, important year for toy collectors. So let's just go back down memory lane and kind of see the things that were released and the things that we may have missed. This year, between 2016 and 2017, I was going through a career transition, and I went back to school, so I was not making a lot of, I wasn't making the money that I'm making now, so I had to let go. I had to pass on certain characters that I was not able to get at the time. I have a thing. I don't like to resort to eBay. I don't like to resort to after-party markets. If I don't get a particular character at retail, I move on. I may get sour about it. I may have regrets. But to me, if I missed out on the retail price train, I move on, because with Hot Toys, there's always going to be something bigger and better. So let's get to it. What do we have here? Civil War 2016 was a big year, because that's the year we got Captain America Civil War, which was a very, very cool movie. Still one of my all-time favorite films. And Hot Toys really, they kicked it up a notch on this year. They really, really did. Look at that. Hot Toys. Look at that. Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, J.C. Hong, the gang. Look at that. May Hot Toys be with you. I don't read Mandarin or Chinese. I'll hold it if you guys do read it, or you can take a screenshot of that site to. Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh, skip the pages. That's right. So 2016. So The Force Awakens was released the year prior, and Hot Toys really, they were under the impression that they were going to make a lot of money. I want to say that Finn, I think he may even still be available on Big Bad Toy Store. I know he's below retail. I know he's below on eBay. Finn was not very well received. Ray, I was about to say Bison Ray. I have her, but you know, I Feisened her up. I have this one here. This is probably the only character I have from this movie. I 100% passed on Captain Phasma. I thought she was a joke in the film. And this Kylo, I did have him on pre-order, but I was getting bullied by other pre-orders, and I ended up canceling him and taking a hit. My plan was, well, you know, when I make a little bit more money down the road, I'll go back and get this Force Awakens Kylo Ren. I never did, never looked back. In fact, I think The Last Jedi Kylo Ren is still available on Sideshow. I haven't fact-checked that or not, so you guys can leave a comment below. Oh my God, Attack of the Storm. This is where it all began, 2016. Oh, the saturation of the Force Awakens stormtroopers. What a debacle this was. Talk about overkill. We all thought, and keep in mind though, at the time, I honestly thought the stormtroopers were going to be the it. And they were going to be the it character, and we were all going to enjoy the stormtrooper craze. A lot of these guys, I ended up buying a 2-pack, and then I ended up selling at a big loss. I took a big loss. I just didn't want them. I'm like, this is just too much. They were stiff. I wasn't happy with the articulation on them. I felt Hot Toys took a shortcut with the stormtroopers. I really did. But my God, they saturated the market with these guys. They really, really did. And what a mess. It's one of those things that at the time when you pre-ordered them, you thought it would be something you would enjoy, and then as time goes on, you realize that these stormtroopers, and then they were just, I don't know. For me, like I said, I ended up buying the 2-pack, and I ended up selling it at a loss. I didn't care. I didn't want the Force Awakens stormtroopers. They also had like the flamethrower and heavy gunner, and it was too much, way too much. Look at that. Second page in, more stormtroopers, snow troopers. It was just, oh man, the Finn version. This guy's at the TIE Fighter. This guy here, that's yeah. My God, I don't blame. This is why I always say why Hot Toys ends up making reissuing the Iron Man figures, because they have to make up the losses on these guys. They put in, so I get it. They put in so much R&D into these guys, and when they don't sell, retailers are stuck with dead stock. And this is one perfect example where Hot Toys, they threw heavy chips on these stormtroopers, and it just backfired. Oh, what a mess that was. Ooh, I tremble. I feel sorry for you. I know there's Star Wars fans out there, but this was too much. Way too much. You don't. No. If I needed a Finn in my collection, I probably would have gone with the Stormtrooper Finn, but the regular Poe version, just no. This doesn't work. Look at all that. 2016, the year of the Stormtrooper. Force Awakens Stormtroopers. This is the first version of the Stormtrooper, which a few years later they ended up improving, right? There's like a 2.0 Stormtrooper. I don't have any of that. The whole Stormtrooper debacle from 2016 left me sour, so I don't have any Stormtroopers in my collection to this date because of that mess. Oh, wait a minute, that's bull. I do have the Sith Trooper from the Skywalker, from the Rise of Skywalker, but that's only because I got bullied at San Diego Comic-Con, because when I was at the Sideshow booth, this lady's like, oh, I only have 2 more left. Did you want it? And I was like, all right, I'll take it. But I don't think I would have pre-ordered the red Sith Trooper, especially after seeing the film. I have this Boba Fett. I have him. I passed on this Luke. I just was not feeling the whole New Hope. I had this 2-pack. And because I missed out on one, I don't remember, it was one of these, I ended up selling my Han and Chewie, made a profit, and then a little while, like a few months later, they were reissued. And that was probably the first time in Hot Toys history where a major reissue, because up until this point in time, Hot Toys, when they would make a character, a figure, they would make it and then move on and then just stay on the course. But these two proved so popular, they ended up reissuing it. And I remember at the time I was doing the Denobi and Benjamin show Me and Ben, we were sour about that. But I sold mine. He didn't. He was sour, and I sold mine. I ended up getting rid of it. I ended up selling it, and I did make a profit on it. But he still had his, and he was pissed, boy. Like I said, we had never, as a Hot Toys collector, we had never experienced that. The Alec Guinness Obi-Wan, I passed on him. I wasn't too big into the New Hope at this point in time because this was the year of Civil War, and for me, Marvel always came first. To me, Star Wars at this point in time was always second for me, always. Look at this. I'm not kidding. Look at this. This is, what, 6 pages of Stormtroopers? Black Stormtrooper, Space Trooper, Han Trooper, Gold Trooper, Copper Trooper, Rainbow Trooper. It was out of a Sand Trooper, Trooper. Whew. It was a mess. I'm telling you, it was a mess. 2016, going down this memory lane with you folks. This is the shit. This is the crap we dealt with. Stormtroopers galore. What was Hot Toys? They may still be suffering a loss from all this. Again, this is way too many troopers. Way too many. You're not building the First Order here. That's insane. These aren't Black Series. These aren't action figures. These are 200 and change 12-inch figures. This is way too much. Again, I no. Please don't yell. I mean, I'm sure there's folks out there. I think Easy Collectible and Paradox Nerd and a few others, love this. To me, this was too much. Way too much. Oh, yummy. Oh, the good stuff. There we go. The Civil War War Machine. Love this guy. The Mark 46. Iconic, legendary. To me, this was at this point in time, like I felt Hot Toys could not have improved their technology. This whole design, everything about the Mark 46 was top friggin' notch. I had never, again, this was to me, as far as a die-cast 12-inch Iron Man figure, at this point in time, this was perfection. This is the Civil War Captain America, and they also made some major improvements on this guy too. This is where the first time too that we would get the you'd be able to do dynamic posing with Captain America. Great figure. We have the Civil War Winter Soldier. One of my biggest regrets. I weep. I always wanted him. I could not pre-order him. I was on a budget this year. In 2016, 2017, again, I went back to school for a little bit. I miss this guy. I miss him. Breaks my heart. Never got him. And I refuse to resort to eBay pricing. Won't do it. But this is one of my biggest regrets. This is what I meant when I kind of ranted with the Mark 47 reissue. I missed him. I moved on. I missed my opportunity to add him into my collection. But these guys here, I had to pick. I was on a budget this year. He was mandatory. These guys here, I wasn't sure how I was able to pull it off. These 3 were mandatory. I may have sold stuff. You know what? I probably did. I remember what I sold, but I sold stuff to make sure that these guys would enter my collection. And he got the short end of the stick, and my plan was like, I'll come back and save you. It's kind of like when you're on a rescue mission and you're loading up the chopper, and it's like, I'll come back for you. I promise. I swear. And I never came back, and it's one of my biggest regrets. This here, another one. Not as much as the Winter Soldier, but I do regret not getting her. Again, at this point in time, I think I had 3 Black Widows in my collection. I had the Avengers. I had I had the Age of Ultron, the second version of the Captain America Black Widow. So this was, at this point in time, this is either the fourth or fifth version of Black Widow. I never had planned. I figured that if she would go on sale or something, I can go back and get her. I never did. I have no regrets that I passed up on this Black Widow. I would love to have had her in my collection now and admire her, but I don't. This guy here, 100% pass. I thought this was a farce. Looking at the photos, looking at the folks who reviewed this guy at the time, no regrets. I don't have this vision. I think this is one of the poor versions, lackluster versions that Hot Toys released. I don't have this guy. I at this point already had 2 Hawkeyes. I did not need another Hawkeye. Great guy. I mean, great sculpt, everything. I love the costume. I like how the one sleeve. But again, 2016 and 2017 was a bit of a financial struggle for me and certain characters. If these guys were released now at retail, absolutely I'd get him now and I'd get her, and I would still pass up on him. I don't have this version of the Falcon. Honestly, I'm perfectly happy with the first version, the Captain America version of the first version release of the Falcon. I love him. Has that military stylistic look. This version is cool. I don't mind the whole rainbow color, but I like the military look of the first release Falcon. Love him. Great figure, great sculpt. I mean, they captured Mackie really well. Love it. But if they were to reissue this guy at retail, yeah, I probably would add him now. At the time, there's just no way. He did not even cross my mind. I was, at that point in time, my first version Falcon was what, 1 or 2 years old at that time. The only version of Ant-Man that I have this guy because I knew I had missed the first. This is the second release of Ant-Man, and I panic. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get this guy, but he ended up in my collection. She was this version of Scarlet Witch, the Captain America Civil War version of Scarlet Witch. It was a hit or miss. I wanted her, then I didn't. I wanted her, I didn't. I have no regrets that I passed up on her. No regrets at all. I do not have her in my collection now. The Civil War Black Panther. At the time, I regretted not getting him because I had to focus money on Iron Man and certain other characters. But I also knew that he was getting his own film. Didn't he get Black Panther's own film like a year or two later? So I knew that another version of Black Panther was coming out. So I felt confident that I could pass up on this version of Black Panther, especially, mind you, that we had this character announced 2016 San Diego. I saw him at Comic-Con. I honestly thought we were going to get this Skull and Bones version of this guy. I really thought he looked badass. I don't know. There's a ongoing thing with Hot Toys and villains. Hot Toys, for the most part, has a history of taking losses when it comes to villains. So maybe they felt they weren't. Maybe there was no a vote of no confidence on this guy. Is it Skull and Bones, right? Bones, Skull, something. I can't even think of his name. I'm having a brain fart on this guy. But I think I would have. See, even if he went into pre-order, I'm pretty sure I would not have been able to add him on. Not because I didn't want to, was because of the funds at the time, especially that I was forced to pass up on the Winter Soldier from this film. So I don't know how much demand he would have had if he went into pre-order. He would have been cool though. But and I feel very fortunate too. I did get to see him at Comic-Con because he was displayed at Comic-Con, and I thought this was a surefire hit, that this guy was going to go into pre-order and be made. We have the Mark 46 Power Pose. I did not get him. I don't have this version of the Power Pose only because I had the diecast, and I thought the diecast version of the Mark 46 was enough. I think this version was great for folks who couldn't afford the diecast version, because I want to say it was $375 or something like that. The Mark 46 diecast was not cheap at the time. It was either $365 or $375, but this guy was like $225, I think. So it was a big savings that you can still add a Mark 46 into your collection and not get ripped off. Well, not ripped off, but overcharged. These little 1/6 scale buses, I don't believe in them. I have no. Is this the gold foiled version? I don't know. I think this was released overseas. I have the Midas, but I don't know if it's this version though. I have like a dull gold version. I know they released one overseas with this reflective gold foil. I never chased them. I didn't care. This I saw at Comic-Con that year, and I honestly thought they were going to make it. I really thought they were. This is the Mark 7 exposed suit. This is, how I think it was based off of Iron Man 3, where Tony enters the Mark 7 suit. I don't know why they felt no confidence in this. 100% Iron Man community. I think if I had to speculate, again, I don't work for Hot Toys, I'll bet you this is one of their biggest regrets. You know how I have regrets? I'll bet you Hot Toys, they have regrets on characters that they missed the window, and I'll bet you this is one of the windows that they missed. Honestly, the whole Mark 7 open exposed, it was beautiful. The amount of detail, the way it glowed inside, this was a stunning piece. Very little, I don't think it had much articulation. This probably would have fallen in the power pose, and they probably felt how many collectors out there would have spent, $2.25 for an exposed Mark 7. I would have. I absolutely would have made an effort to have squeezed this guy in. 100%. Ooh, that came out wrong, didn't it? Oh, there you go. We were at the trail end of the Iron Man House Party Protocol. Again, 2016 and 2017, I had to make really important decisions. I did not pre-order him. He sold out very fast. My plan was, okay, cool. If he goes into wait status or something, I'll jump in and I'll jump on the wait list at Sideshow and I'll just get him. He sold out extremely fast. A lot of folks did not pre-order him. That when they made the retooled version, the expanded version of him in the red and the gold, I remember that. I jumped on it because I panicked. I don't have this version in my collection. This is one of my biggest regrets. This is the, oh my goodness. Oh, this is the flight suit. I can't think of the name on this one. I have this guy. Love him, love him, love him. What the hell is his name? Brain fart. It's not Sneaky. Oh goodness, I can't think of his name. You know what? I'll throw in a little caption underneath here, right here. There, that's his name. Oh yeah. Diecast War Machine. This is why 2016 was such a brutal year. Characters like this were mandatory. This was the 2.0 version of War Machine that they greatly improved from the first version that was released, 5 years prior? So this was a big deal, and this guy's worth a lot of money. Again, I still have him, no plans on selling him, but that was mandatory. Characters like this, it's like no ifs or buts. We're going to have to figure out how to get this guy into the budget. The Diecast War Machine, the 2.0, 100%. The Pepper Potts and the Mark 9 suit was never pre-ordered, but I ended up getting a good deal on eBay. So I followed this one almost a year later, discounted on eBay. So I did not pre-order. So that's the thing with Hot Toys. Sometimes jumping on the pre-order bandwagon, it may not be the best value. Sometimes if you wait a year, you can get some really good savings. Yeah, I don't have a chance to review it, but in the end, it's about keeping your collection healthy, alive, and not going bankrupt. This version of Deadpool. This was the Deadpool that had a lot of QC issues, wasn't it? I want to say it did. I had this one, and I saw the imperfections in the suit, and I quickly panicked and sold them. I sold them, and I knew that they were going to make another Deadpool. So that's the Deadpool I have in my collection. But this guy here had issues with his wrist. There was just a lot of quality control issues. The suit, that whole pleather. I had fun. I made a really cool different video on him. It's in the channel. It's not for kids. But I had fun making the video. And had Nick Zucchi do the voiceover for him, good friend of mine. And that was fun. It was fun playing with this guy and doing the video with him, making him talk, being all, provocative and stuff. But I was aware of the imperfections, and I jumped ship. I passed up on this whole Stan Lee version. I remember this guy. He sat on Sideshow for quite a while. To me, I had no interest. I didn't care. Not that I don't like Stan Lee, but there was just nothing flashy about having just an older gentleman. Especially if someone who's not familiar with the MCU, who they don't know who Stan Lee is, they'll just look at an older gentleman. Granted, I know Stan Lee's famous, but he had to get past. Ant-Man. That's right. So Ant-Man had just had his film the prior year, so he was being shown in this catalog, but he was last year's pre-order. Look at this guy here, the Yellow Jacket. I really thought, maybe Hot Toys, they were overextending themselves. I really thought we were going to get the Yellow Jacket. I love this whole suit. I did review him on my channel because he was shown at Comic-Con. I thought he was a surefire hit. I honestly thought we were going to get the whole. It was gorgeous. I thought we were going to get Yellow Jacket, and it was just abandoned. That's common. A lot of the earlier years, folks who aren't aware with Hot Toys, they love showing off. They love flexing. They like at Comic-Con and all these toy event shows, they love showing off their prototypes, and if they feel that there's not enough interest or buzz into some of these characters, they just abandon them. I would have gotten this one. I love this whole yellow and the tentacle, and not the tentacles, the sphere. I would have gotten this one. I would have probably made an effort to get him. I passed up on this Ant-Man, but I ended up getting the Ant-Man from Civil War. That would have been cool. I love villains. If the villain is really cool and nice, it would have been nice. It's a recap. This is the 2016 catalog, so 2015, it was still fresh in everybody's mind. And Quicksilver and Scarlet, I passed up on both. I don't have any of these. I do have a Scarlet Witch that I ended up making a Feisen video on, but it's not this one. I think it was the regular version, Scarlet. I have Ultron. I did not pre-order Ultron. I ended up buying him on eBay, heavily discounted. He was just not well-liked and well-received. I think I paid $250 plus shipping on eBay. I got a really good deal on this Ultron that I couldn't pass up. He was, at this 2017, he was flooding eBay, and folks just weren't feeling this version of Ultron. The Mark I, love this guy, love it, love it, love it. The Sentry suits, I have them, love it. I kind of wish they would have made more different versions, but I understand it probably would not have sold. Or you know what they could have done? Maybe made swappable chest plates like it was discussed in a few of the groups. That way, if there are collectors out there who want 1, 2, or 3, or the whole 5 of the Sentry suits, they can at least swap out the chest plates and the numbers. So I felt this was a missed opportunity on Hot Toys, because there were collectors out there that would have loved to have owned different serialed versions of the Sentry suit. And the Hulkbuster here. Now the Hulkbuster, this is the first version Hulkbuster, because I know there's a reissue, which, again, that reissued Hulkbuster, very important, because this one was plagued with so many problems. This guy right here went in a pre-order in 2015 and was not released until, 2017? This guy was delayed for a very, very long time. So I'm for this particular reason, I actually like that Hot Toys had decided to reissue this guy with the additional accessories that were shown at Comic-Con. I want to say 2016 or 2017, especially like with Veronica. I suspect that this guy right here may have affected the production of other characters that they were planning on to, because this was trouble for them. And these are the quarter scales. I do not collect quarter scales. I think they're cool, they're fancy, but especially this year where I had to penny pinch. There was just no way. And every year I say, I'm going to introduce a quarter scale into my collection, and I just don't, because there's just so much stuff to collect. And these, especially the price point on a quarter scale Iron Man, and the fact that they are real estate hogs. These guys take up a lot of space to display. So they look great, no issues with them, but I still to this day do not have a quarter scale in my collection. We have, I want to say this is the New Hope Vader. Yes, New Hope Vader. Quarter scale. These are the quarter scale Boba Fett. Oh, I didn't know they made a quarter scale Stormtrooper. Again, they went gaga with the quarter scale, didn't they? Yeah. And this is probably the start of the little Cos Baby renaissance. This is when they were expanded into the little Cos Baby little bobblehead, cutesy little artifacts. No interest in any of this stuff, but it was cool. It's kind of neat to look at. And they're still going strong. These little tchotchke little toy lines, little characters with little big giant heads and the bobbleheads. They're still doing good with Hot Toys. I think it's more of an overseas thing. I don't think American collectors dig these little anime-style characters. And I think that is it of our catalog. See, we have that. Oh, look at that. They got Warmonger there. And I think that is it. Oh, little Disney characters there. Well, this was fun, going down memory lane. Look at that, Force Awakens. And that is it. Well, I want to thank you guys for taking this little this trip down memory lane with me. Hope you like it, and I'm going to try to get some actual reviews out. I enjoy these catalogs. These catalogs they really serve as a historical archive as to where Hot Toys was and where it's heading and going, and these are fun. I wish Sideshow would sell these things to us U.S. collectors, because I think they're fun. These things are just as much as a collector's piece as the actual products that they sell. So, like, subscribe, leave your comments below, and thanks for watching.